I got engaged to a blind duke. Episode 172, the Western region won't stay quiet about this. Deep wrinkles formed on the chief attendant's forehead. The Western Duke's intimidating presence from the solar hall was still vivid in his memory. Chief Attendant, do you think the Duke will bring demon beasts again just because I don't allow the marriage? The Emperor sneered coldly. For a moment, he thought that might actually happen, but the Emperor seemed to have different thoughts. The situation now is different from back then, isn't it? The Duke's nephew will soon become my daughter-in-law. No matter how arrogant the Duke is, he'll care about his own blood. That's why leashes are good. Don't you think so, Chief Attendant? The Emperor's hearty laughter echoed through the office. The Chief Attendant, hearing the Emperor's laughter for the first time in a while, could say nothing more and only bowed his waist deeper. Peridot looked at the open field with sparkling eyes full of anticipation. Marin smiled secretly to herself as she watched Peridot bubbling with excitement. Since she hadn't been able to play with Peridot while making the ring, today was the day they decided to build a duke's castle together with sand. Ubis came carrying sandbags piled high on his broad shoulders. Garnet stood beside him with a displeased expression, holding a water bucket. Everyone, please put them down here. Yes. As Ubis set down the sandbags one by one on the floor, they made thudding sounds. Just how heavy were they? Why are we doing something like this? Garnet, who had set down the water bucket on the floor, finally grumbled. They say playing with sand is good for a child's growth and development. Who says that? Garnet asked, becoming like a prickly cat. I heard it somewhere. Now, please spread out the sand we brought and sprinkle water on top of it. Marin smiled brightly and gave orders again like an instructor. Yes. Garnet, think of this work as part of training too. What kind of training is this? Garnet asked Ubis argumentatively. Though she had used formal speech with Ubis, her senior, at first, they had become more comfortable with each other as they grew closer. Ubis smiled mischievously and pushed a sandbag toward Garnet's feet. Try lifting this. Garnet made a huffing sound and reached for the sandbag. She had been doing physical training consistently too. Something like this sandbag should be nothing. She grabbed the sandbag with both hands and applied force, but it stopped at waist height. She grunted and tried harder, but couldn't carry it on her shoulder like Ubis had. Garnet set the sandbag down on the floor with a thud, looking annoyed. Ubis had carried these heavy sandbags, one on each shoulder. But she couldn't even lift one properly. The more she trained, the more keenly she felt the difference in strength between men and women, which made her angry. No matter how hard she tried, that gap would never close. Seeing her disappointed expression, Ubis looked at Marin with an oops expression. He had wanted to tease her a bit because her grumbling to the young lady annoyed him, but he hadn't expected her to be so disappointed. Marin, who had been watching their conversation, mixed wet sand and mud to make round balls. Finding this interesting, Peridot also eagerly followed along making balls. When several round balls were made, Marin threw one at Ubis. Ubis' eyes widened and he quickly dodged. Miss, why are you suddenly doing this? Marin silently threw them earnestly, and Peridot also threw them with sparkling eyes, following along. Ubis dodged what the two were throwing this way and that, but eventually got hit once. This time Marin changed direction and threw several at Garnet in succession. Garnet dodged all the balls instantly with a bewildered expression. Why are you suddenly doing this? Excited Peridot followed the fleeing Ubis while throwing, and though Ubis dodged well, he always got hit once. Don't be disappointed in yourself. Marin approached Garnet and placed a round ball in her hand. What do you mean? Garnet's eyes wavered, thinking her feelings had been read. You just need to get better at what you're good at. Ubis gets hit by 1 out of 5 balls. You dodged all 5. Ah, Garnet trailed off with a surprised expression. She hadn't even realized how many she had unconsciously dodged. As Garnet fell into deep thought, Marin quietly stepped back with an encouraging heart. Peridot, we need to build the Duke's castle. With no more balls left, Peridot was hanging onto Yubi's leg and playing. Yes. As Peridot ran over quickly, Yubi stroked his chest with a relieved expression. Now, shall we all build a wonderful Duke's castle together? Wah! Peridot and Yubi raised both hands high and cheered. Despite the age difference, they both looked like the same child. All together? Garnet, who had awakened from her thoughts, asked as if bewildered. I asked Master in advance to lend me you too. Marin smiled a victor's smile and winked at Garnet. Peridot, who had been molding sand with his small hands, approached Marin who was building castle walls. Teacher Marin. What? When are you and Uncle getting married? Marin burst into laughter at the unexpected question. Soon, I think? Wow. Really? Then I'll get subordinates too? Peridot asked with sparkling eyes. Subordinates? Yes. When you two get married, a baby will be born. Then that child will be my subordinate. Sister Garnet is Yubi's subordinate. I want to have subordinates like Yubi's too. Okay. But first, you have to ask the baby if they want to be Peridot's subordinate first. If the baby says they want to, then you'll get a baby subordinate. How about that? Peridot readily accepted Marin's proposal. Good. Since there are 4 of us siblings, teacher should have 4 babies too. Then I'll have 4 subordinates under me. Peridot clasped both hands together and painted a rosy dream. Marin looked at the child lovingly. By the time her children could become Peridot's subordinates, wouldn't Peridot have grown up and be running away from children, finding them annoying? Marin swallowed her laughter and cheered for Peridot's dream in her heart. Garnet, who had been listening to their conversation from the side, struck Yubi's ribs with her elbow as he was earnestly building castle walls. Oh. Hey. Why did you do that? Did you tell Peridot that I'm your subordinate? Yeah. You're my junior, so you're my subordinate. You're right, you are. But it's annoying. It wasn't wrong, but it felt strangely irritating. Garnet felt petty and poked at the castle wall that Yubi's had carefully built with her finger. Hey, it collapsed. Marin read today's fairy tale book to Gerald in a gentle voice and put the book down. This time, they had been sitting side by side on the sofa while she read. When her sweet voice came to an end, Gerald's long eyelashes slowly opened. Marin quietly gazed at him. Every moment when he opened his eyes and met her gaze felt dreamlike and wonderful. Why are you smiling so prettily? I'll take that as you saying I'm pretty. That's what I said. Yes, yes. Marin placed her finger on the book with a shy face and fidgeted. Today, I built the Duke's castle with sand with Peridot. Come see it when it's finished. It'll be really magnificent. I thought so. Why? Because there's sand hanging from the ends of your hair. Marin touched her hair with a flustered face. She felt embarrassed that she kept showing him only her messy appearance. He had immediately noticed her torn sleeve from fighting, and when she returned from the desert, she hadn't been able to wash properly for several days. Pretty. TCH, why didn't you immediately say I'll take that as you saying I'm pretty this time? I said it so directly. Marin pretended to be sulky and turned her head away sharply. When I was young, I never got to play with sand. Really? She looked at him again, but somehow he seemed bitter, so she couldn't ask why. You play so well with Peridot. The child is so cute and lovable. I like children. Yes. It seems that way. Speaking of which, today Peridot said he needs 4 subordinates. Subordinates? Marin spoke with a voice full of laughter as she recalled her conversation with Peridot during the day. Yes. He's going to make our babies his subordinates. Since Peridot is one of the 4 siblings, he asked us to make 4 for him. I wonder what he plans to do with 4 subordinates. Gerald's expression darkened for a moment, but Marin was too busy chattering to notice.